Hello there, my name's Paul Birch and I'm here to speak to the legendary guitarist Michael Schenker, formerly of UFO and the Scorpions, and now back to embark on a UK tour with his Temporal Rock band. Michael, thanks for taking time out to talk to me today.
Good morning.
Morning. And we'll rush it too because you've got to rehearse. Last year, 2015, it appeared to be a very good year for you in the band. You started off, you released Spirit on a Mission, the album, seems to have gone down well. And you were a special guest on the Judas Priest tour at the end of the year. Did it
that was great.
Yeah?
I love it. I mean, it's a great audience anyway, and big places, you know, full houses, and we didn't do any sound checks, so you never knew
really
what to expect before you went on stage. So it was always like, well, da-da-da-da, and there you are, and then you have to position yourself, and you have to figure out how to deal with that setup, you know.
Yes.
Sometimes we had a lot of space in front, sometimes we had a little space, sometimes, or most of the times, I think Herman was on the floor.
Right.
And he was like, but it's kind of very interesting because you're kind of figuring out as you go, and it kind of keeps some kind of, I don't know, some life element in it. And I loved it. It was very short, but I think it was short and sweet and great audience.
Good.
I had a great time.
Good. And the year, I mean, like for the Temporal Rock, it seems to be the last couple of years, you really stabilised the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, that was the idea. I mean, in the very beginning, I had no idea what was going on when, you know, like around 2010 or 11, you know, I was just ready to make an album, and I just, you know, knew about Michael Voss in Münster, and I just, you know, I asked him to help me out with some guide vocals, and, you know, I told him, like, you can sing, why don't you sing this album? I don't have a singer right now. And so, you know, Gary was in Thailand. Anyway, so I was just kind of putting something together, but it went like bang, 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 bang. One thing led to another. The next thing I played to you know, to Herman and Pete Way, and they wanted to become the rhythm section, and then, you know, I get a phone call from William Shatner's agent, you know, Captain Kirk, if I would play on his album. I said, this is the guy we want for our intro on the album. So we swapped, you know, he spoke on our album, and that was the album where Dougie only sang one song, Before the Devil Knows You're Dead, and then Robbie McCauley sang a song. I had so many great musicians on that album: Carmen Epi, Simon Phillips, my brother Paul Raymond, Chris Glenn, Chris Slade. I mean, the list is endless, and I had no idea why that was all happening by itself. You know, it went bang, and there was an album. You know, called that was Michael Schenker, Temporal Rock. You know, that was the first. And then I realized, you know, it's kind of, I felt like I was in summertime. You know, sum it all up. Everything that has happened to me in life, put it all in one. And so, you know, we were touring. When I was trying to go on tour, Michael Voss wasn't available, and then I asked Robin to help me in America. Michael Voss was available for Japan, and then the moment Dougie was gonna do the European tour, Pete Way got sick, and so I said to Herman, why don't you ask Francis? We play a few Scorpion songs. It would be great. Maybe he's interested, you know. And so Francis was more than happy to do it. Basically, with Dougie and Francis, you know, joining became the next step of that development. And then we did a DVD, and then and it got better and better and better, and great audience, and a lot of excitement. And so I decided to asked the guys if they want to make a record, and we did Bridge the Gap. And after Bridge the Gap, I already knew how to get to the next level with adding more of the 7 strings to it, Wayne Findlay as an additional songwriting team, you know, which was again another step. And now you have the classic, the Michael Schenker classic sound combined with a low deep string, 50-50 on the album, well balanced. and so the idea is we're still using the Michael Schenker platform. We're using my record deal that I made in acoustic 2008, and so it's time for Temple of Rock to find its own record deal to bring it now to the next level.
Right.
So the third album should be, as definitely the fourth album, but the third album I would say we definitely have found Temple of Rock will have found its own unique sound and the whole setup, etc., etc. And so that's what we're working on. We are doing our last concert in February in Scandinavia, and then it's time for to find a record deal for Temple of Rock, so that we can then go from there and see what and how can we bring it to the next level. And in the meantime, 2016, we have the DVD Live in Madrid. That's going to be released in April. And we have, and that will keep people entertained in the meantime while we go shopping for a record deal. And then we have two new singles, a double A-side single, Rock City and Good Times, which is now currently played on Planet Rock, and so that's the stuff that goes on.
See, Michael, I don't need to ask any questions at all. I thought you were going to be not talkative. This is great. Is touring easier these days? Or harder? You mentioned about going on
180 degrees difference. When I was, in my first, when I look back today, it's like this. I can see three periods of my life. The first one was in the 70s. Unconsciously, I had so much fun on my guitar. I never thought of business or anything or becoming famous or whatever. I was fascinated with a single string, what I can do. That's why I became a lead guitarist. It's that was my fascination. And so I made my musical contribution unconsciously in the 70s for the 80s, like Scorpions and so many bands took that kind of style. My brother called me back from America in the early 80s, hey Michael, they're all playing your guitar style. And so, I found out about these things later, Guns N' Roses and Def Leppard, Iron Maiden and so many, big bands, Metallica, they became fans. And so if I look back now, actually, I've been a trend maker instead of following trends, And I haven't been listening to music since I was 18. Definitely not, consuming or focusing on it. Of course, if I go in a restaurant or somewhere, I can't stay away from it. But I make an effort not to focus or consume music, so that I can write from within and stay. That's what is important to me, to do pure self-expression, and that's what I did since I was 18 years old, and that's also kept me fresh, by not listening. One needs to know if you're having fun copying or if you have fun creating. Nothing wrong with any of that, It's just you should do whatever makes you feel happy. So I knew intuitively when I was 17 and a half, 18 years old already, that what I wanted to do, and what I needed to do in order to be successful with it. And then you automatically create your own, style, because you're not listening to anything. You're just always doing it the way you see it. See, that's the thing. So if I wouldn't have done that part of self-expression would have never been on this planet. So I make my musical contribution in the 70s for the 80s and for the 90s, etc., etc. In my middle years, then I helped out the Scorpions to open the doors for America. UFO was already a big band over there. They had a hit with Lights Out. I ran away because I didn't know how to deal with fame and success. And so, so I was stage fright. It was very hard for me to be on stage, and it was not really that what I was looking for. I was just so into playing, and I was actually entertaining myself. Play and discover. It was like treasure hunting, looking for gold. Unbelievable, Every time you find a piece, you're like, wow, you find something from inside.
This is the liberty on the streets, they're your prison. Was all good.